Rascal Beats.
For your Caesar, Cardiff City ride with me for your Caesar.
Wrong intro. Yes, guys, I'm Si. Welcome to Cardiff City World, the Cymru and Birth podcast, and I am joined as ever by Harry Trades. Mate, what's going on?
Mental, mate. That I don't know. It just doesn't feel. It don't. I was just telling you that it feels like a bit of a dream in a weird way, doesn't it? Like it just doesn't feel real. Like what are we doing? Being involved in a win where we're 6 goals up on the other team. I know we've had some massive sort of score lines against Belgium and stuff, but close games really. But mate, to blow it is weird though, mate. Just as a little one, I remember. I'm sure Bellamy said it yesterday before. He was like, "I'd love to be involved in 5, 6, 7-0 and stuff." And mate, what I honestly, I stuck out in my head. I was like, yeah, it'd be great. But as a Welsh fan, that's just something that we've never been used to. But man, fucking hell, didn't expect it to come in this game, or on this night. Sorry. So yeah, mate, unbelievable. But yeah, lovely to be with you, and looking forward to chatting through this. To be honest.
So to put it in perspective, Wales 7, North Macedonia 1. North Macedonia were unbeaten going into this game, having conceded 3 goals in the whole qualifying campaign, which is absolutely unreal. It was going to be a difficult going into it. The prediction was simple, it was just get a win somehow, just somehow. To do it in that way was unbelievable. And I think video at lunchtime. The title was Bellamy masterclass ? And it was basically about him finding his mojo again in terms of the first few games. Me and you talked about it at the time. The first few games of Bellamy's reign, it was innovative, it was refreshing, it was 1-2 touch passing, there was loads of rotations, but most of all, it was the changing of shape and formation for the opposition, for home and away. The personnel changed. It was very refreshing and very modern compared to what we're used to as Welsh fans. So, but then in more recent times, it's felt like it's become a bit old school in you kind of knew who was going to play. We played the same way. It was very lethargic, very slow. And I was fairly confident that he would. I was pretty confident that was going to be the 11. It wasn't the 11 I would have picked, and I'm not going to backtrack on that. And me and you exchanged text after the lineup was thinged, and we were like, what? But you've got to give him credit. I thought Josh Sheenan is just at the game of his life, mate. Considering he hasn't been particularly great at club level, to play at that level in a game that big is really, really impressive. And I thought, just very quickly before I give it to you, the one early tactical change which I really liked is to avoid Sheenan getting completely exposed when we got turned over. Either Nico or De Silva were just tucking in alongside him. So when it did break down, there was always someone there to win the second ball. So it didn't matter as much when we lost the ball and Wilson and and Cullen and that was further up. And don't get me wrong, it's mad. And I'm not going to pick out any negatives just because of the score and the performance. But there was some negatives in there in the first half, which we sort of picked out when we were talking. But we'll save them for another day. Harry Wilson has been Bellamy's guy, and he stepped up big time today. Him and Brooks, I thought, were just sensational. We'll get to Brennan Johnson, mate, because I want to give him his own little thing. I really, really, I'm chuffed for him, mate. I am, because I don't think it was a lack of effort. I think he was in it. You could see. Did you see just before Brennan scores his goal? It kind of, there's a cross sort of shot comes across, and he's got an open goal, and he side foots it, he hits it, and the defender just makes an unbelievable block. And you can see his face. He's just like, I'm just never going to score again for Wales at this rate. But I thought from the first minute, actually, Brennan was really good. But let's stick with the overall performance, mate, and then sort of go into Wilson and Brooks.
100%, mate. I think what kind of sums up for me, and I know I said this to you at half time, but our big players just turned up, mate. And you know what? It's been a while since that's happened, like simultaneously, like everyone at the same time. I'm talking Brennan, I'm talking Wilson, Brooks, Dan James. The common denominator is they're all Premier League players. They're Premier League caliber players, you know, outside of Nico and Rodon, obviously, but they're defenders, right? As is Darlow, you could argue, playing for Leeds. But mate, like, yeah, it's just been a breath of fresh air to actually see, all the things that Bellamy says about Brennan and his attitude and how good he is and all this stuff. It's so nice to just see it come to fruition, mate. Like, we've seen it happen in the flesh there in a very big game with lots on the line. And I remember Bellamy saying again in an interview yesterday, the day before, it was like the lady asked him something like, do you think your players will feel pressure? And then he was like, pressure? Like, these guys chose to play football. Like, they chose this to be their sort of occupation, right? Like, this is, it's no pressure delivering a fucking, a postcard or whatever. The postman delivers his fucking mail and stuff. Like, that sort of analogy, what Bellamy said. And, it is different, but there's also a lot of similarities in that. And I think it rings true. But, mate, seeing Brennan on the left, mate, he looked fucking electric. He looked like a different player. And we've seen him deploy this sometimes for Spurs, but maybe not too much. The right side, I think we were banging our head against the fucking wall. It just doesn't work for him. He hasn't got a left foot to come in on. So and he weren't really going down the line as you'd like him to, like a Dan James will, because he has that sort of acceleration where Brennan's more of he's obviously quick, but he's quicker over a bit of a distance, Brennan. Like, he's like you've got to let him go for it to actually happen and see him drift past players. Where Dan James, obviously, his acceleration's probably the best in the world, just because how small and how quick he is, like, in that sense. But different players, right? Just different players. And Wilson, like, sort of floating and stuff. Like, I've never been so happy to see us not play a number 9 and it just be like free flowing Brooks and Wilson dropping in and giving their sort of back five just a nightmare base. They had no one to mark effectively because they were coming deep. They'd have to come and follow. Then there's gaps in behind, and you've got obviously, DJ and Brennan providing so much width. And yeah, Brennan there. I know Sorba's been amazing for us this campaign, don't get me wrong, but like, you could just see the difference. Like, you can see why one's playing in the Prem. I know that might be a bit like sort of short-sighted in like Brennan's had one good game. I'm not saying like over the course of the 10 games, Brennan's been better, but I can see why Brennan got picked today. You can just see it. It's a different level.
Well, I mean, even when you look at and I don't really want to go with like negative so much, but even when you go with Sorba, when Sorba come on, I think almost every cross he put in after getting into a good position, he hit the first man. And I think that's the kind of difference in terms of like Championship, League One, and the Premier League is when you get the opportunities, you got to make them count, and you got to put good balls in the box. But this a little word on North Macedonia, mate. I thought North Macedonia surprised me. They were way more open even before we scored than I expected them to be. Then they've been in every single game they've played throughout this campaign. It was almost like, and I was thinking this after about 15 minutes, just after we scored the penalty, I thought, wow, like, it's like their manager took offense to what Bellamy said about them not really, they could have lost a few games if not for a bit of luck and this. And it was like he took offense to it, and he just played completely different, a completely different way of play. They played so open, mate, and they were all over the place, North Macedonia. But you still have to take your chances. And as we saw on Saturday, if you don't take the chances, it can get a bit squeaky bum time then towards the end, even against the poor Liechtenstein side. You concede a couple of chances and you're thinking, oh, Jesus Christ, like, this could go horribly wrong. And I just thought they were clinical. And they found it very difficult to deal with Brooks and Brennan Johnson and Harry Wilson because they just all dropped in. But it's Harry Wilson,
problems, mate, isn't it?
But it's the work rate as well. Like Harry Wilson, at one point, he took a corner on the right-hand side in the first half. It got cleared, and they broke down the left. And he was the one who made the challenge and broke the attack up on the halfway line. And it was like, yeah, he's up for this. And you can't...
Captain, mate. You know what I mean? Of course he's good. Captain of his country, 101st captain of Wales. What an honour, first time for him. And, it's just sort of written for him, isn't it, mate, to score a fucking hat-trick and an assist. It's honestly things of sort of, we all dream of, I guess. But, yeah, mate, it's just like, this is what we should be doing every game, because football doesn't work like that. But this is what, again, not what we expect, But it's got to be I'm not saying that the scoreline necessarily. I'm just talking about our best players turning up. Like, is that too much to ask for, Si? Really? And I'm not saying in this manner 7-1s. I'm just talking like, I'm not even talking work rate, because we know that's a given with Bellamy. That is like not even in question. We'll never talk about that, because we've seen under Page players have not sort of down tools, but like you can just see sometimes body language wise, players are just not having it. They're just not. But you can tell everyone's off the same hymn sheets for this Wales team. I'll never question like work rate necessarily, but the sort of chemistry and obviously the quality end product. I know football, putting the ball in the back of the net is the hardest thing to do in this game, obviously, right? That's why it's so sort of fun to watch, because not many goals normally get scored, but when they do, it's a blessing, especially when it's for your country. And I just would like to see a bit more of this on a consistent basis. And I think we'll get there. Bellamy has said, like, he has 3 days with these players, 2 days with these players. We can't expect miracles. Fair play, mate. In a short span of time, I know he's had his ups and downs, and there's been Bellamy outs. I've seen those on Twitter. I won't forget those. There's been a couple. Do you know what I mean? And I've never thought about that. I'm not sort of bandwagoning here. I'm just thinking that it's a process, and for it to like top off in this way, I know it hasn't ended in like we're through to the World Cup like a Scotland maybe, but man, does it get much better than that? Really, in our little bubble?
Yeah, I think it's one of them, mate, right? It's one of the most pleasing things for me today was the amount of times throughout the game from start to finish, and we didn't take our foot off the gas, but the amount of times we played off one touch, like one touch triangles, and the North Macedonia players just going around in circles. And I thought we looked a little bit shaky in the first half at the back. Like, I didn't really understand why they switched Dylan Lawler to the left.
Yeah,
that was a weird one, because I thought him and Roden looked a bit shaky or less secure than they did like the other way around. And plus, you also put Dylan, who's the kind of ball playing one, who's playing the ball into the midfield. You kind of put him on the side where there was less people who were sort of press resistant and wanting the ball in tight spaces. But as the game went on, I thought like Dylan was ridiculous as usual for a 19-year-old. The composure on him.
The only thing I can think of, like on that, I was going to bring this up to you, and I was going to ask you what you thought about them switching. I did find that a bit weird to watch. I reckon it might be something. I'm just sort of like, thing on the top of my head, something to do with like how like I'd argue Nico's a better inverter than Jay Da Silva is. So like, is there much point having Lawler so close to Nico? Because Nico can play those sort of balls that go in, in behind lines and stuff. If inverting, obviously, if he's giving us width, then obviously he's not doing that. But do you get what I'm saying? Like, I guess if that's the reason, it makes sense.
Yeah, because that does make a bit of tactical sense to me, because if you look at it in the first half, the same as on Saturday, a few times when we've got a ball and we've got them pinned back, Dylan's like right in the midfield in the sixth position almost. And I guess, Nico tends to do that probably a little bit more than Da Silva, because he's a bit more experienced, so he knows when to do it, when to go wide. But it was and I'll tell you what, right? Daniel James took a lot of grief on Saturday from Wales fans for cutting back and don't get me wrong, it was some of it was warranted, like as usual. Some of it's over the top, but some of it was warranted because he wasn't doing what he's in there. Like, Daniel James to me is in there for one thing. He's in there to go past his man on the outside, use his pace, get in behind, and get the ball across. And he didn't do it enough. He kept cutting in. I think I thought Daniel James was really good tonight. On the ball, in behind. It was just a very accomplished performance. And I think what people forget with Bellamy and with all Wales managers is quite often Wales managers come in, it's their first proper job, or certainly their first big job. They're under a lot of pressure with not a lot of depth in terms of talent and players, and they're learning on the job. So Craig has gone in there first couple of games and he's just doing everything his way, because it's like, new manager, this is how I'm doing it, blah blah blah. And then you get into the qualifiers, then there's a bit more pressure, and you can understand why he goes with the hard workers and he goes with the ones that he feels he can trust. So I do get that to a certain extent. My biggest sort of, not criticism, but my biggest bemoaning of him recently has been use all the tools that you've got available. Like David Brooks on the bench to me will never ever make sense. Like he's so much of a better footballer than probably the only one who's a better footballer than him in that sort of front four is Harry Wilson.
Yeah.
Like even Brennan Johnson, who's plays for a top Premier League side, like he's nowhere near got the technical ability of those two.
No.
And Brooks just like he links everything together. He's always like the bounce pass, and he's always the little sort of 1-2 in behind, and then that is what allows like that. The one I really wanted to go in, mate, and I was gutted it didn't, was the Nico Williams goal. The one that hit the post, mate. It was such good football. But let me tell you this, right? That fourth goal by Daniel James, if that was scored by Barcelona, by Rashford and all them, or Napoli or whoever, mate, it would be viral, and it would be like, look at these players, they're unbelievable. This is unreal. This is the best football you'll ever see. One touch, blah, blah, blah. It was sensational, mate. And it's not just the back heel and the bat, it's the bit before it where I think it's David Brooks dummies it. It goes into the fullback drops it back, and then he gives it back to the person who, I think it was Brooks, but whoever dummies it has gone in behind. And it's just, honestly, mate, just sensational. And like I understand, mate, people are waiting for Bellamy to blow up. People are waiting for him to fail, and he's not everyone's cup of tea. I get it. And for me, like, I found him really refreshing at the start when he came in. And I just thought, thank God for this. After what we'd had for the previous manager, it was refreshing. But I also like to think that I'm pretty balanced, like, and I'll call it as it is. And the last few camps have been really underwhelming. But today was, even Saturday, I thought wasn't great. Like, I felt like we were a bit slow in the way we moved the ball. Can you imagine we'd have moved the ball on Saturday like we did today? It'd have been about 15-0, mate.
Oh, man, honestly, it would have been a joke. Well, Belgium stuck 7 on them today, so there's no reason why we couldn't have done very similar, But, yeah, I don't know. Is there elements for you where you think, like, he probably knew, your Mark Harris's, no disrespect, and even your Sorbers, maybe, boys who started, or, most of them started on Saturday. Like, did he kind of know in his back of his mind, like, I'm not saving Brooks, but, or Brennan, then you could put those. I know Wilson was suspended, obviously. I wonder if there was an element of, like, I want everything ready for sort of Tuesday. I know there was, Ampadu and JJ not being there, that changes things, but that only changes really Cullen and Sheehan, really, then, if we're being honest. So I'm just talking about, like, Brooks, Brennan, do you think there was an element of, like, I don't need him away to Liechtenstein in a weird way, although we needed to score goals, I get it, like, or do you think it's just like it just looks brilliant that it's kind of come off the fact that, like, he didn't start them then, they come in tonight and they're a joke? Like, how do you see that?
I think there's a couple of elements to it. Like, I don't disagree with you. I thought it was weird not to play Brennan Johnson on Saturday, because I thought that would have been a good game for him to get confidence, or hopefully get confidence, but that could also backfire as well. I didn't agree with playing Ampadu and Jordan James on Saturday. I didn't think that we needed to risk the 4 on a booking. Like, I just thought that was weird. But, you do what you do. Today, I just think, look, as I said to you before the game, I said to you actually Saturday night after the Liechtenstein game, I said to you and my other mate, I think you and him sort of suggested what they could do in midfield, or what you'd like to see. And I said, mate, it will be Sheehan, it'll be Cullen, and it'll be Wilson, because he trusts them. And he did. That's what he did last time that James and Ampadu weren't available. Now, I think you've got to be fair and say, whilst I don't think Liam Cullen was sensational tonight, I thought he was good. Like, he didn't do anything wrong. Now, in my opinion, do I think there's other players who can do exactly the same and probably a bit more? Yeah, I do. But when he's in a Wales shirt, I'm going to support him. And I thought he was good today. What he did do, he made a couple of important interceptions when we lost the ball, and won it straight back. And what he did do is he didn't take too many touches. So when he did get a ball, it was just control pass. That's all he needs to do, mate.
I agree with you. My only like sort of gripe with that is like, for me, and again, I'm not a Cardiff fan necessarily. I'm from Cardiff, but there's no bias in here. I'm just thinking, like, I'm on SofaScore now. I'm looking at everyone's ratings. Wilson had a 10 out of 10. Brennan Johnson 8.3, which is really high. 7.8 for Brooks, 7.5 for Dan James, and then Cullen's there on a 6.9, which is the second lowest actually. Dylan Lawler technically had the lowest rating. I think it's probably because he had 94% accurate pass. There's no reason really why. Like he won 3 out of 4 of his ground duels. This is
weird.
Yeah, it is weird. 98% pass in his own half. I don't know. It could just come down to like he lost the ball 5 times. There was that one time where, do you see when he like it was like a weird pass, like a weird little wobble. But I don't. Yeah, it wouldn't tell me that stats. But going back to Cullen, like I just look at like what he did output wise, and like 88% accurate passing, wherever, fine, 2 shots, wherever, 1 tackle, 1 lost, only won of his 3 ground duels. I just look at it and go, made 2 fouls. I just think like, I think we could have put someone else in there today, and they would have had. And let's just call it Colwell because it makes sense. Like let's just call it Ruben. I'm just looking on the bench. Yeah, it's either him or his brother, realistically. Or maybe Broadhead. One of those 3. Fair enough. Like I not almost guarantee you, but I'd put good money on it that like one of those 3 would have come out with either a goal, assist, or a couple in a 7-1, mate. Can we just like? There's 14 opportunities there for a goal contribution. Yeah, goal assist times 7, wherever, right? Like it's just mad to me that like he's come out with nothing. From a stats perspective. I know everyone's not into that, but like Brennan goal assist, Harry Wilson 4 goal involvements. Obviously Brooks wins the pen, gets a goal. Dan James gets his goal. Like I don't know. I just look at that and go, you're playing in an attacking position in a 7-1. I want to see a bit more output personally. I know he's popped up in the past. Like he has had little goals, having little flicks and headers here and there. Like he has had output, but I think in a game like this, I'm looking at that and going, I'm not expecting Sheehan to score. He's our deep player, but I'm expecting all 5 of our attacking players, Brennan, Cullen, Brooks, James, and Wilson, to probably all get on the assist or goal sheet, if that makes sense. But that's just been like really picky.
Yeah, and I think like when you look at it from a pure statistical point of view, in terms of you've scored 7 goals, you're looking for those players to be involved. But I think, in fairness to him, he didn't do anything wrong as such. I was
expecting a bit of not magic. I'm looking for a player there who can score me a goal or go and get me an assist or 2. Like that's all. I'm not saying he didn't do anything wrong. I'm just thinking like next level. Is there someone that can come in and actually give produce, if that makes sense, just give output. I'm just not seeing output there personally in a game where we had 70% possession, touched the ball 29 times. I don't know. I just, from like a midfield number, like I guarantee you JJ would have had way better stats than that, as in like he probably would have had a goal or an assist because for me he's a better player than a Cullen. Could have go into Ruben 1, but like JJ probably plays there tonight. I think I
think
probably does.
JJ or Ampadu play, don't they, if they're not banned? Yeah, but look, I've got to say, I was shocked by North Macedonia, mate. I genuinely was shocked. Me and you have talked quite a lot about them over the last couple of months, like about how difficult this game was going to be. And we didn't want to go into this game needing like 3 points because they're hard to break down.
And they were hard to break down. Mate, like a month ago. 0-0. And I think that was away as well. Kevin De Bruyne played, Doku played. That Courtois was in goal. Like that, everyone, absolutely everyone. It's mad.
I mean, their goal is very fortunate as well because the keeper slips. Like if he doesn't slip, he saves that anyway.
Yeah, he definitely has a better chance too. Mate, it's really harsh. Opta have given Darlow an error there, which I think is really harsh. Like on the slip, I know. Because I don't think the slip really does. Genuinely, I don't think he saves it anyway. Personally, I really don't.
Right, okay. I thought it was.
It's like a weird angle. Like it's obviously, it's like near post, isn't it?
What it did though, when he slips, it opened. Like he slips, and the moment he's on the floor, the striker's decision is made for him, and he just puts it in the net, and
the
ball's going past him while he's like getting up. so he's
I know,
never
it
going
was.
to be able to
You're
react
right.
like his favourite.
Oh no,
But,
no, not after the slip. But I just thought it was harsh that they gave him an error for that. Like, it's just
yeah,
mental.
yeah, I think that's very harsh, mate. I was really, really pleased for Isaac Davis to get his Welsh debut,
Unbelievable.
and I thought
Yeah.
actually he didn't do a lot, but he got an
One
assist.
assist, though. Yep, he did.
And
Mate, I'm telling you. But that's the little things. Like, no disrespect, you put Sparky on, and like that probably doesn't. Like, it's just instinct
he
sometimes.
doesn't
Some
get
players,
that, does he?
yeah, like some
But
people just. Some players it just goes from, and they're on their debut and they have a flick and it goes in or gets an assist. Like little things like that just happen. It's sometimes written and sometimes like if a Biancheri came off the bench or something, he's bound to just guess something in a game like this. And you just tell some players just have the knack of just getting involved in in goal involvements. And Isaac Davis is definitely that player for me. Like I think he can definitely have an impact.
yeah, mate, I think the other side with Isaac is I think I said this in my video on Sunday, but it's hard for me because people just think it's a Cardiff thing all the time, and it's really not. Like, but I look at him versus Mark Harris, and I think he offers everything which Mark Harris does. He presses, he works hard. He's got pace, but what he offers is a genuine direct. Like he can run with the ball, he can get in behind, and he's got a bit more of a natural goal scorer's like instinct with him.
100%.
But with the people forget as well, mind the five Cardiff players who are in the squad, they're all like in 22 and under. So
Colwell's the oldest, basically.
Yeah, and
Ruben,
and don't get me wrong, like people like myself and a lot of the people watching, we watch them each week, so we know. I look at Jay De Silva just as an example.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see it with him. Like I just think, God, haven't we got like a left back who's better on the ball like that? But like it's not like a personal thing with Jay De Silva. He looks a bit off it. He might be nerves. He hasn't played a lot of international football, so maybe he's putting a lot of pressure on himself to be that guy. And maybe he thinks in his head, he's thinking, well, Ben Davis is going to be retiring soon, so I've got to make this place my own. And then it becomes like a big. Almost like the pressure in your own head, isn't it? Whereby you're putting that pressure on yourself. But what I've seen of him in Saturday and today, I was like, well, why isn't Kipakio playing and Nico on the left? Because I see Kipakio every week and he's way better than this. But it's a different level. They're different ages. There's a lot of things which us as fans don't see. And you've got to trust that the people who are seeing them week in or day in, day out in the international break. There's a reason why. Like, look, I'm leaving Colwell out of that conversation because I think there's other reasons. But the rest of them, I think you've just got to have it at face value that in training, Jay De Silva looks maybe a little bit better than Kipakio. Whatever that might be. It might be physically, might be on the ball, might be defensively, whatever. Same with Joel Colwell versus Liam Cullen. Same with Dylan played anyway, and I think Dylan's probably nailed down that spot now alongside Roden, if I'm honest. Unless I guess it depends what they want to do with Ben Davis.
With Ben,
if they want to play Ben centre back, then he probably does come in for Dylan. But I wonder whether they may switch to a 3, mate. To be honest with you, because you've got players who can play as wing backs naturally. Nico, Sorba Thomas can play as a wing back, even Kipakio and people like that. So I wouldn't be shocked if we switch to a 3 for the playoff. It looks like we're going to get. Is it Montenegro we most likely to get?
Is it? I haven't really. I'll be honest. I haven't really caught up on the pot situation after tonight. Not seen much on Twitter either, actually. But I'm sure I could find something. But yeah, with Jay, I mean, Jay's 27. Like he would be considered like a bit of a not veteran, but in that squad, like there's not many older than him really. Like all our best players are basically in that age, right? Like Wilson's 27, Brooks is like 26 or whatever. Or, like they're all in that little age gap. And yeah, I'm sure Kipakio will probably be a better player than him. I just think Jay De Silva offers security, would be like the best. Like if I'm the manager, I'm looking at him and going, yeah, like he's sturdy. He's not the biggest or anything, but he'll be tidy. He looks really tidy on the ball. I'd argue that's probably one of his. I know he gave a few balls away early on, like tried to thread a few down to Brennan and made a few risky passes or whatever. But for me, I think I look at him and go, he's very technical as far as like he was taking corners against Liechtenstein. Like he's got a wicked delivery on him. not unbelievable, but like Bellamy obviously trusts him enough to take corners. Like he's clearly got something going for him. But I'm not saying I'm not sort of waxing lyrically. I'm just looking at it and going, yeah, 27, played in the Championship for years. I can see why he's come in. He's quick, not rapid, but he can move.
He's like, he's got that age experience, hasn't he? And I think even though he's inexperienced,
he looks young.
It's mad, don't it? Right? He's 27, and he's played a handful of Welsh games, whereas Nico Williams and Ampadu and the rest of them are like early to mid 20s and got like 50, 60 caps. It is crazy. And look, for people who were saying, Isaac Davis should be starting or Ruben should be whatever, all these different things. They're in the squads now, or most camps, and I think if they keep their form up, they're going to be in that position whereby when they get to 26, 27, 28, they're all going to have 50 caps, because there are players in the group like Ben Davis who are coming to the end of their international careers. So Dylan Lawler is going to step into centre back there if he's not already preferred, and then there's a couple of others, but then. I want to go back to Brennan Johnson, mate. I texted you after, I think it was about 3 minutes. He picked up the ball on the left, and he actually he had a bad pass into him. I think it was from I'm not sure who it was actually. I think it might have been De Silva. It was just a bit short, but Brennan sort of battles for it, like wins it, like as it ricochets about, and he just gets it, and he just runs at the defense, and he nearly goes through all the way, and it's like. That's what you want from him. You just want him to be direct. And his decision making was really good today as well. When to keep hold of it and when to go at his fullback. And that finish, mate, is incredible.
Like, we kind of forgot if he could play on the left is our issue, isn't it? Like we've just seen him deployed on the right for so long, and it just looks like it's just not working, which it hasn't. Like no one can tell me he's had a good game on the right, and then goes on the left today, and he looked like, honestly, if someone like put a mask on him or something, I wouldn't have known that was Brennan, if I'm being honest. Like he played, like he just looked different. The way, and then you do when you play on on different sides, you're going to come inside, your body angles are different. But mate, he actually looked like a proper winger. It was strange, like in a good way, like a wow, like. He looked like, I know this is just hilarious now, but like he looked like the Welsh Neymar or something. Genuinely, like he was sort of like putting balls around people, and obviously, sort of just progressing with the ball in a way that like no one could get near him. But like he was winning fouls. Like mate, he just looked like genuine. Like, my mate texted me then. We were slagging him off earlier before the game, saying like how bad is he for us and stuff, because that's just how it's been, right? Like, we're just saying how it is. And mate, fair play to him. Like I'm so happy for him. Like. So happy for him to show to show us the fans, even probably Craig, everyone. He may be doing it in training, don't get me wrong, but like to show us on a big stage, as far as like we were still going through qualification, but like there was still a pot, a couple of pots different to be on the line and stuff, and to go and give us a performance like that, it makes me. I honestly think like he could kick on now big time. I'd really hope, like not so much with Spurs out that whatever, right? If he plays, we don't really know, but like. As far as like this qualification now and stuff, I think, mate, like if we can play like that, and I'm not talking the goals and stuff, but even just the intensity we played at, all our big players turning up, there's no way Sorba plays on the left over Brennan for me now. If we're like at home, it might be different if we're like up against him, we're away in fucking, I don't know, excuse my language, Bosnia or something, and we need 5 at the back. I get it. But like, there's no way Brennan Johnson isn't starting on that left side now, in the next game, whether we're at home or away. I just wanted to tell you on the pots, mate, I've got them here. So basically,
I just got him as well. Go on.
So we've got, it's like Poland, us, Czech Republic, and then either Slovenia or Slovakia. I don't actually know. I'm looking at the emoji. And then in pot 3 is Ireland, Albania, Bosnia, or Kosovo. So we're going to play one of those 4 effectively. So it's like pot 2 versus 3, and then pot 1 versus pot 4, and then the winners will meet in the final.
Who would you want out of them? Those 4.
Easiest game, I'd say, is probably Kosovo, if I'm being honest. And then I'd say it's Albania. And then I'd say Bosnia. I don't think Ireland are... I mean, we've seen Ireland Ireland are the one I'd want to avoid, if I'm being completely honest, from like, like how good they are perspective. Bosnia nearly went through tonight, mate. They were like a goal away. Austria scored pretty late on. They nearly beat Austria in Austria. So, like, I'm avoiding them. Albania, obviously, we've seen them play England. We saw them at the Euros last year, year or so ago, whatever. They look really good, actually. They've got some decent players, similar to North Macedonia, actually, in their setup and stuff. I'd say Kosovo the weakest. Like, they got Muric in goal. They've got like one or two, if I'm being honest, like one or two like recognizable players. Albania have like 4 or 5. Bosnia have like 10. And then like Ireland have probably a full squad, realist. You know what I'm saying? So I'd say that's how it would go. I'd bite your hand off for Kosovo.
Yeah, and I think ultimately I'd back Wales at home anyway to give anyone a good game. But
yeah,
like I agree with you. Like Republic of Ireland and Bosnia, I'm not really in a rush to play. No. In terms of the final, it's going to be tough anyway, isn't it? Italy, Denmark, Turkey, Ukraine, Northern Ireland, North Macedonia, Romania, Sweden. Like it's never ending, mate. Like it's going to be hard, isn't it? Maybe we meet North Macedonia in the final, and then after revenge.
That'd be so funny, wouldn't it? Like, yeah, Romania. There's some good, 8 good teams there. Realistically, obviously, you'd want to avoid, your Denmarks and Italy's and Croatia. Turkey's. If we're being completely honest, I'd fancy us against a Romania, Ukraine, Sweden, obviously Macedonia, and then obviously Northern Ireland. Yeah, it's like I'd say there's like 5 favourable there and like 3 really hard out of those 8, from pot 1 and 4.
Mate,
it's not going to be easy. Not going to be easy at all, is it?
No. But yeah, I do think what Wales have got to do from tonight is they've got to take not the positives, because that's ridiculous. It's 7-1. But they've got to take the lessons in terms of how they played and the tempo they played at and the amount of times that we played off minimal touches, really like a lot of one-touch passing. So if you haven't got a Gareth Bale who can do ridiculous things, you've got to let the ball do. It's like basics, isn't it? Like what kids do. Like let the ball do the work, just pass and move. Because I say to my kids all the time, like when you're running off the ball and letting the ball do the work, it's almost impossible to pick you up, because unless you're like the most dedicated, you're playing against the most dedicated of midfielders. Most of the time, the runners will just go. They'll run off you because they don't follow the run after the ball's gone, because they're looking at the ball. So yeah, it's one of them, mate. I still can't quite get my head around it. When I do 5 things we've learned the next day after the game, I try to sort of mix it up. And if it's been a bad day, I'll try and find the 1 or 2 positives. I don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow. It's going to be, I might change it to 7 things. Who knows? So the last time, the Naughty says, the last time Wales scored 7 goals was a 7-0 win in Malta in 1978. That was before I was born.
Yeah, that's nuts.
It's just mad, isn't it? Absolutely. Yeah. Of all the things that I saw happening today, 7-1 was not on my list. It really wasn't.
Yeah, I saw somebody have a bet. They bet 7-1 in 3 of the games. Obviously, Belgium was 7-0. There was another. Who else would have smashed someone? Belgium 7-0, Wales 7-1, and Romania beat San Marino 7-1 as well. And he had 7-1 in all of them. Gutted.
Oh, gutted, mate. Gutted by a goal. So William just said the last time Wales won by 6 clear goals was 147 years ago when Wales beat Ireland 11-0, 1888.
You don't see it, do you? I know it's kind of happened tonight in 3 different games, but for us, you just don't see that. It's something that comes around sort of once in a lifetime.
So what do you make of this then, mate? JT says it was a nothing game because both teams were guaranteed of a playoff. So was the pressure off Wales, you think? I think there was pressure on Wales today because the pressure's slowly been building on Bellamy the last couple of camps. So I do think there was a bit of pressure there for him.
No, yeah, I think there was pressure. Is it, how much pressure is obviously the question. And I wouldn't say it was full capacity pressure, because if it wasn't as if if we lost we didn't get a playoff type of thing. So what he's saying is true, but the caveat to that is there was different pots to be available. There is obviously there was something on it. It wasn't so much like a do or die. there was definitely, you can't argue, there was a better pot position for the winner. Like that, that's just a fact. But could you, does that mean there's pressure though? To a degree,
Well,
but maybe not like, not full capacity. Like,
if we lose, we could be away to Italy. So, like,
true. Yeah, you get the home. Yeah, you get like the second leg, or the semi or whatever at home, don't you? Stuff like that. So yeah, there's stuff on it. Is it like do or die? No, but it definitely helps. Like, doesn't it? Let's be honest.
yeah, 100%. Congratulations to my Scottish brethren as well on their way to the World Cup. I'm really
Love
pleased
that.
for them. Loving
Excited.
that. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm really happy for Scots.
Yeah, I just not quite sure. I think Kosovo's the one in there. You just got to go. Just hope for Kosovo.
Just got to cross everything in our body.
I can't get my head around how bad. I don't want to take anything away from Wales because I thought Wales were very, very good. But I just cannot believe how North Macedonia capitulated. From the moment we got that first penalty, they just fell apart. And I know they came into it when they scored, but their goal had a lot of luck to it, and they never really looked like. And even then, there was a chance in the second half. Was it second half or no? Late in the first half, where Nico slips after Roden misjudges his header, and it looked like they were in again from a slip, and the guy just miscontrolled it and sort of took it out wide. But they didn't carve us open. They didn't create any chances really, even set pieces. I said this morning and yesterday, like an early goal would change the whole dynamic of it because then North Macedonia couldn't just sit in.
Right.
So I think that, they were a bit more attacking anyway than I thought they were going to be, or in terms of their pressing, at least. They were very direct in how they tried to attack. They just sort of put it up to the striker and played off him. But I was surprised how much they pressed early on. Like, I thought they might sit in a little bit more. But I'm happy to say that I predicted a Craig Bellamy masterclass this morning. So take that all day long.
Yeah, 100%. I was just thinking then, like, how mad is it? Like, we're going to have two of our best midfielders back into that side, by the way. Like, imagine if we had Ampadu and JJ. They're really, like, what an 11 that is. I know Ben Davis as well. You could argue pop him in instead of Jada Silva, but that's our strongest team there, and by a country mile, if we're being honest. Like, you need some sort of thing.
Yeah, I think, interestingly, right, I'd have to go back and check, but I mean, if you've got SofaScore open, you might be able to look.
Yeah. Cool.
I would argue, or should I say, from memory, I think in Bellamy's first couple of games, Kiefer Moore didn't start.
Might have started one, but you could be right.
Or did he start the away games? And he didn't start the home games?
Let's have a look. So, Wales, Belgium, he didn't start the home. Won't count Wales, England, and then Wales, Canada, Kazakhstan. He might have played away. Game. He played away to Kazakhstan and scored the winner. Yeah.
No, but I meant like right at the start of Bellamy's reign, when we were really, really good. When we played Turkey, didn't we, on a Friday night? I'm pretty sure Kiefer Moore didn't start like the first couple of games that he was the manager. And I just wonder whether these players are more suited to being a bit fluid and having the rotations and just moving the ball quickly off like a couple of touches rather than they are the old school play up to the 9 and play off him. Because they're all really good technical footballers. So maybe they're better at just getting the ball down, pass, move, you know?
And I'm looking at the game here. Wales 0-0 on there. Ramsey played as a false 9. And then
that's right,
Sorba and Brennan. Yeah, Kiefer didn't start that one. He came off the bench though for Ramsey. I mean, it seems as though, I know we drew that one, but it seems as though we have a lot of sort of luck, I guess, or success with like a false 9 with like no forward like that. That sort of, remember the Spanish team with like Fabregas, that sort of false 9. He kind of sort of made it popular, I guess, back then. But like, it does seem to work for us, whatever way. Like everyone interchanging in different pockets, in angles and combining, make it, because Bellamy loves a 2-on-1. He loves an overload, and like when you've got a Kiefer, he's just not that type of player, is he? Like, I'm not saying he hasn't got good feet and stuff. Like, he can hold the ball up and be a threat in certain areas, and his height and stuff's like a blessing and a curse, I think, in some ways. But yeah, I think overall as like a starting 11, it does. I'd be shocked if Kiefer like gets into it. If there was no injuries, I think he's more of a 30 minutes off the bench guy to change things around. I think Bellamy would like to go into games having fluid, dynamic 5 or 6 sort of attackers, and they all sort of, but it's horses for courses, right? Like, it's not always going to work against the same sort of opposition. There might be scenarios where, Kiefer's going to needs to be utilized because we know they got 2 small centre halves and we could just bully the life out of them and get runners around him. That can work. You can have players running off him, and he's just causing havoc against their centre halves if they're not physical or whatever that looks like. So I'm not writing him off necessarily because
equally, mate, if we get Ireland in the draw, like we might go with Kiefer there, where it's a bit more
Maybe.
like a derby, like a British game, isn't it? Like a Premier League game. But I think when Harry Wilson plays in that false 9, and then you've got the pace of Brennan Johnson and Daniel James and the cleverness of David Brooks, plus you've got Nico Williams coming in from his side. Yeah. What it does is, like, Harry Wilson is so good at getting on the half turn because he can pop a ball around the corner, he can pop a little dink, he can carry it and drop a shoulder, he can play little 1-2s. Like, he's so good and he's so versatile. And I think him dropping in the pocket, just the centre back's got to make a decision. Do I go with him? Do I not? If I don't go with him, he turns and he's going at me. And if I go with him, I'm leaving a space for Brennan Johnson or Daniel James, whoever, to run into. And we did that time and time again. And I think, like I said, playing off minimal touches, and that's what impressed me the most, because that's, in my opinion, it's like the most simple football to play, but it's also the most difficult football to get footballers to play, because all footballers want to get on the ball and show what they can do and do the skills and beat a man and all the rest of it. So it's like this weird conundrum whereby it's the most effective football is so hard to play against when a team is just going bang, 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 but no footballers want to do it. So
no, it's tough.
No, I think no football. It's probably a bit of an exaggeration, but it is a type of football which footballers naturally don't want to do. All footballers, like from professional to grassroots, because they want to carry the ball and they want to have touches.
Mm-hmm. It's basically like having wanting a whole team of Rodris, effectively, like how he plays football. Like, it's not aesthetically pleasing, but the way he can move the ball, touch pass, like a Busquets maybe, like that. It's the hardest skill in football, but also, like, to the eye, it's not necessarily like, aesthetically.
It's so difficult to play against, though.
Of course, if you can move teams that way, but like I look at it and go, like, let's be honest, North Macedonia 10 times better than Lithuania. So, like, how are we scoring more than what? I know, like, goals are disallowed and different personnel, but you got to think we can put more than 1 on a Lithuania. Like, you got to be honest.
Liechtenstein, you mean? Sorry,
Liechtenstein, sorry, not Lithuania. Yeah. Sorry, they're not too bad, but
Liechtenstein,
come on, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, mate. It's hard. And don't get me wrong. Like, Liechtenstein is like a super, super low block, and they're literally just defending for their lives. But
other teams are sticking 6 on them. North Macedonia,
mate, we were too slow. We were too slow moving the ball. We'd taken too many touches. The crossing was poor. And like Brennan Johnson's crosses today were in the first half were exceptional. Just getting on.
But they're all like low and driven. We're like Sorba the loop and like over the top. Like, we don't have tall players on the pitch. No one's going to head the ball in, really, if we're being honest. Like, Sorba, I don't know. Like, Sorba does have a good delivery at times, but we've seen it before. And I think he took like 27 crosses that one game and like 3 connected. Like, it's just like the ratios that's not good enough. Sorry. But at the same time, who's he got to aim for? But then I'm like, well, why are you crossing it that way if you know people aren't going to get on the end of him? Like,
Yeah. And the other side of that is Brennan seemed to be aiming for like people, like you know what I mean? Like, he seemed to be aiming for people rather than
100%
just putting it in the box. Like, so, mate, I couldn't be happier. in terms of the result, the score, the performance. I thought the referee, that's a good shout actually from Paul there. Says the ref was decent tonight. I thought the ref was excellent, mate. He let a few sort of 50-50s go. And a couple of tackles, which you're waiting for the whistle because you've seen it so many times. Every bit of physical contact, and the referee goes free kick, and it breaks the game up. He didn't fall for it. Didn't fall for the penalty shenanigans and stuff like that. And both penalties are nailed on penalties. The free kick from we only talked about a free kick from Harry Wilson. Unreal, mate.
Just different level, isn't it? It's just different level, mate. Like he's shown. I know he's had a few injuries this year, which has been really gutting because it took him off course, didn't it, for us and Fulham. But mate, he's just different level. Like he is just a joke, and I'm just sort of sad that it just doesn't happen in the Prem enough. Whether that's through injuries, whether that's through just not being deployed, and I think he's a better player and number 10 than like an Emile Smith Rowe. I think he's I'm saying that because they both play for the same team, of course, and I think Wilson's more than good enough to be a massive player in a Premier League team. What I'm saying? The quality he has is just a joke, but you need to play, you need to sort of hone that in on him. I'm not saying it's just a one-man team, and I'm not saying build the team around him necessarily because you can't do that in the Prem really, but he is different level. He is a very incredible footballer in many ways, and the quality, that's Bale-esque, goals like that. No one else in our team can score free kicks like that. It's just as simple as, can't.
Just mad, mate. And we'll finish on this. Is Harry Wilson's free kick is unstoppable. Top corner, beautiful, phenomenal free kick. One of the best you'll see. Wasn't even the best goal we scored tonight.
No, it wasn't.
That has to go to number 4, mate. Number 4 was unreal. Watch it back and just watch that dummy in the build-up and.
Oh yeah. As a team goal, it was ridiculous. I mean, Brennan's strike was good. It took a slight deflection off the player's ankle, it lifted it up a little, sort of couple of inches. I still think it goes in, but as a strike, obviously Wilson's and Brennan's up there. But you're right, as a team goal, that flick from Wilson to sort of finish it off for Dan James, like you said, that's a it's a viral goal really, but it's not because we're Welsh, basically.
And the best thing, I thought that 4th goal just encapsulated everything which Wales did tonight as well. It was moving the ball fast, loads of rotations, runners off the ball, 1-2 touch, just bang, bang, bang. Patient to start, building up out of the back, and then as it goes through as you get through the press, bit of urgency, runners in behind. Back heel, good finish first time as well. Love that. But like you said, mate, as you rightly said to me over text, and you said on the show earlier, the Premier League players, the couple that we have, turned up. Joe Rodon, Premier League player, was excellent. I will say Dylan Lawler was excellent as well. Mind League One, 19-year-old, but in terms of the experience, the top level players now. In Joe Rodon, in Harry Wilson, David Brooks, Brennan Johnson, they all turned up, and they turned up real sharp.
100%, mate.
And like I said, mate, I'm so happy for Brennan Johnson because I never thought it was a lack of effort. Although I do think today he worked very, very hard defensively, which I think maybe it's easier to do that when you've got a bit of confidence and. You bang one in the top corner and you feel like you've contributed, because I think that's something as well, isn't it? It's when you feel like you're not contributing.
Body language for him is massive, isn't it? You can tell when he's just not on it, which has been most games, sadly. But today, I didn't feel that you could just look at him and just go, you're just not, you're not having a day today. You're just having a bit of a howler, sadly. But today I just felt like there was just a really interesting energy about him. Just watching, I wasn't even at the game, but you could just tell there was just a different body language, and it shows. You can see it on his face and his body, it's prevalent, and it was amazing to see. Like you said, very, very pleased for him.
Beautiful to see. Right, mates, thank you ever so much as ever for joining me, and always good to talk Wales, and what a way to finish this international break.
Buzzing, mate.
7-1. Wales 7, North Macedonia 1. Wow. I'll be back in the morning with 7 things we learned from Wales versus Macedonia. and Cardiff City content 7 days a week. But it's not just Cardiff City content. There's also EFL content. On Thursday, we have an interview out with Reece and Robert, joined by Wimbledon's head of academy. And we also have all new episodes of Inside the EFL dropping very soon, where I take a visit to professional football club, talk about the workings of the EFL. I wonder where I'm going next. We'll have to wait and see.
Love that,
in a bit. Thank you, mate.
All the best.
This channel is powered by an incredible membership community on Cardiff City World and patreon.com/AcePodcastNation. Becoming a member unlocks exclusive rewards from early access to live event tickets, bonus content, and even the occasional inside transfer scoop when we get it. But more importantly, it allows us to bring you top quality Cardiff City content 7 days a week. Across those 7 days, we're talking match previews, exclusive interviews, instant match reactions, the breakdown podcast, tactical deep dives, the spotlight series, Bluebirds Rewind, Academy Focus, and just so much more. Led by myself, backed by an army of passionate Cardiff City fans, this is content created by fans for fans. Balanced, professional, and 100% all about the club we all love. If you enjoy what we do, then join the community today and support what we are doing as we help to keep Cardiff City World flying high.